welcome to this week's episode of MOAR Tech. I'm your host, and this is my lovely... Oh, wait, hold on a second. There we go. This is my lovely co-host, Viquel.
Hello.
And welcome to 2019. How you feeling, Vicky? New year, new you?
Well, yeah, same me.
Fair enough. Well, guys, this year, as per generally the beginning of the year, we typically have an event called CES, or the Consumer Electronics Show, that happens, and typically all the bigwigs like to come out and show us what they've got, at least stored for us for this year. At least the large majority of them do. We have a few that throw shade, like Apple. Well, you know exactly what I'm talking about, Vicky. For those of you who don't know, apparently Apple decided to throw up a billboard type advertisement that's quite large, saying that what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. And we will completely forget the whole iCloud fiasco that happened a few years ago. But yeah, while Apple did not attend the event in person, they decided to be there in heart. And apparently the news. But overall, this place is generally where you would find some interesting products that would come out within the, well, hopefully this year. Some of these products are essentially what you'd call vaporware, where they show them off, they get you hyped up, and then they just never come. Razer's especially known to do this. Am I wrong? Like, I still remember when I went to CES, they had a modular, like, desktop tower. Everyone was going gaga, wondering when Razer was actually going to finally announce it, and that has been, what, 3-4 years now, and it's still not out yet, and I don't think it ever will be. So yeah, you have stuff like that, and then you've got the off the beat ones, like credit cards that have chips in them that allow you to register a bunch of different credit cards on it. So yeah, there's some weird ones out there, but this is CES 2019, where we have new stuff, and I'm not going off of my past experience. So, honestly, I've seen some interesting stuff this year. But, I mean, I don't know about you, Vicky. Overall, for me, CES hasn't really...
wowed me.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, personally. This year it was just like, oh, okay. I think last year was... I don't know, I feel like last year I was a bit more enthused about it, but this year's just like, oh, that's neat, that's cool, and then that's it.
Yeah, like, there were some interesting things, but it's like a handful, like, probably like half of a handful that were like really interesting.
There's some really odd things as well, and creepy ones.
Oh, we had some creepy ones. Okay, Vicky's onto something. Okay, explain the creepy one for me.
The creepy one, I think for me the most creepiest ones were the Samsung bots.
Okay, elaborate on that one just a little bit. I don't think I actually saw that one.
Well, this is from like Samsung's that little presentation that they had at CES, and they showed like these little bots that, well, one was basically an air purifier, but they took a regular standard air purifier that just sits there and they turned it into a bot, so they gave it like a face and everything, which is very creepy considering that we had, I don't know if anybody watched the movie, but Next Gen came out last year. Like the bots were basically kind of like pets in a way, but they did just what everything you told them to do. But at the same time, they were being controlled. They had like a bomb secretly planted in them, and I can't remember I can't remember what the guy name was from the villain for the movie, but the villain was basically like, oh man, it's a spoiler territory. Okay, so spoiler for the movie. The villain was basically like a robot, and it was basically a human, but the robot killed the human and took over his body, basically. And he was planning on like killing all of the humans and turning all of them into robots. So like all the little bots that they had following them around that they had purchased were set to basically blow up and kill all the humans so that they could make a complete robot world. So when I saw, like someone had that little bot, I just like my mind automatically went there. I just felt like they clearly didn't watch Next Gen. I like the bots was kind of similar to the basically just like the facial feature for the bots is similar to it. And then I think I saw LG had was it LG? I think it was LG. Another company had like similar bots too. I just felt like, okay, clearly this is the year for bots. And then Lovolt had like this yoga looking bot. It's very creepy as well.
I remember seeing like a bot that required you to pretty much play with it. Like otherwise it would, how should I say this?
Get upset?
Kind of. Like it was a pet without actually being a pet. It's very weird. Like it has a face on it and everything. It has arms and it'll try to like raise his arms up and like get your attention. And like it'll make noise, and like the more you pet it, it'll actually like go to sleep, and or the more like you cuddle it or whatever it is. Like it was.
I think that might be the same. The Lovot.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yes.
That.
And like the Samsung, the Air Purifier, like it would basically it's kind of like, oh man, the robotic vacuum cleaners. We just like let them run around the house. So yeah, it's kind of like that, but they run around the house looking for like contaminated air, and when it finds the contaminated air, it lights up and like it makes it this mad face. It makes it this mad face to I guess express that that it's contaminated, and it like continues to the process that needs to contaminate the air. So, clean the air. So, like, it filters the air and produces clean air. It's very odd. They gave robots emotions, well, programmed emotions, more or less.
Yeah, like that's always been a weird thing. Just like how far will they go with, this whole kind of thing, and how should I put this? Robots on a whole, like, I think people are trying to look for that Rosie the robot from the Jetsons, essentially. And because she was dusting the house, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, like all that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of like...
She's a nanny bot.
Essentially, yeah. But like all these little bots are essentially doing the same thing, just they're differentiated. They're not one thing. So I'm kind of wondering, like, will there really be a day that we have a Rosie? And will they actually, like, dedicate it to Rosie? That would be neat.
Way in the future.
Way in the future.
What's that now? They're just creepy.
That's true. But then again, look at the basic... do you remember, like, what Rosie looked like?
Mm-hmm.
So she's essentially got 2 red eyes, a boxy smile, and a bulky exterior. Like, would you really not say, like, if someone was to make something that looked like Rosie in real life, it would not creep you out? It would. It would creep me out.
It would. I think it would really be like the red eyes, because usually like persons associate red with like stuff or some negative feedback. So if they don't make the eyes red, then I should be fine. Somewhat, maybe.
It would be interesting to see like a concept of that actually happen. But there was, okay, so this one for me wasn't necessarily like creepy, but it was weird in how they actually like did it. And that was, did you see the smart block of wood?
Yeah, what on my I felt like when I saw it, I was like, is this like a piece of wood? And like it looked like the paint mixing tool.
Yeah, exactly. Like this was a piece of tech. Not, it feels weird to call a piece of wood piece of technology.
Tech, yeah.
Essentially, what it is, though, folks, it's a Kickstarter by Miu that has essentially like succeeded in its crowdfunding Kickstarter. And how should I put this? It is a long piece of wood that has a bunch of holes inside of it that allow the light to essentially come through. It has like a little coating in front of it, essentially, and it's both touch and voice activated. And it works with Alexa. If I remember correctly, it works with Alexa and Google. Actually, no, I think it just works with Google Assistant. So you can do several things with it. It'll check like the weather. It'll like set your appointment, see what's there. You know, the very basic stuff. And it's supposed to be like a minimalistic design. Instead of like everything having screens nowadays, it's going to just be a block of wood on your wall to give you directions and do stuff for you. Because that's not weird at all. But it does lead to certain aspects. Like, imagine a bed head. Or, what do you call them again? Like, headboards?
Yeah, that's a headboard.
Yeah, so imagine your headboard having that, like, built inside of it. Or, like, your drawer or cabinet. Or, like, your kitchen sink, essentially. That could be interesting. Like, it's an interesting concept. I probably would not get this particular product, but I could see it being enveloped into other products that probably would make a bit more sense. I also did notice that it was kind of laggy when like you would try to tap on it or say something and like have it do something. It was, yeah, it was kind of, it took like 3 to 5 seconds before like anything would happen, and then it would like do letters out block letter by letter. So yeah, it's kind of, I would say it's still in concept, but it's already a product, so it's kind of weird. How do you think that will be really received, Vicky?
I think persons will have the same reaction we did. Because when I first saw it, I was like, is this like a piece of stick? They just like mash tack with it. I was like, what?
Hey,
but like you said, it could be something small now, but developing something into something larger later.
That's what I'm really hoping happens. I really am hoping that's the case. There was another weird product that I saw though, and this one
Not
was
the one that is full your clothes for you.
Huh?
The one that is full your clothes for you.
That one I've actually seen some. Okay, no, it's not. Wait, I've seen stuff like that before.
A height of laziness.
I know, right? Like that one, I've seen like where there's this thing that you could do, and you put your shirts on it, and you just like kind of fold it, and it folds the shirt for you like that. Actually, no, I think this is the first one that I've seen that folds clothes. I know there's one that steams your clothes, and you just put it in, but that was like a few $1,000s, and I have no idea how well that actually went. But yeah, it's kind of weird that they had one that folds shirts, pants, pretty much any item of clothing. But then that was still expensive as well. Like I think that was like $1,000 something to get it.
Yeah, and that's Australian dollars. So
Ooh,
it's 1,370 Australian dollars.
how much is that in American?
Let me Google.
Google to the rescue.
No, it's not bad.
That's not bad. Like, what's the price?
Oh, it is actually a little under $1,000.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's not that bad. But then at the same point, it's
So it would be $980.
here's the thing though. Would you be willing to spend $980 to have something fold your clothes for you within 5 minutes?
Nah, I just fold it myself.
Yeah,
I usually fold clothes while I'm watching something. The time goes by really fast, so it doesn't really a bother for me.
exactly. I mean, me personally, sure, it's great that it can fold like an entire load of clothes in 5 minutes, but at the same point, like, is the investment of 900 and something dollars really worth that short amount of like investment? Plus, then that's me having to store it, and then what happens if something breaks, and then I need a replacement part or like to fix it, versus my hands. Yeah, I don't know about that one. If you have a boatload of money, by all means, feel free to throw it at that, though. Though, turning about boatloads of money, there was one product that I saw that they didn't give a price for, but everyone that reviewed it pretty much said they expected it to be a few $1,000s.
It's the Rollable TV?
No, but that's a good one too.
Oh, okay.
This one was the Asus ROG Mothership, which was essentially the laptop that kind of becomes like an all-in-one desktop, but you fold it the other way around. So typically where you have the keyboard on the bottom, like when you open it up from the clamshell, the keyboard's like that, it's actually the other way around in a sense. You open it up and the keyboard is actually, you turn it like that. I'm not saying this right. Essentially, what happens is something. Let's see if I can. I can't get a good video of it right now, but essentially it opens up very large to become a monitor in a sense that can connect to all of your connections like USB, Ethernet, so on and so forth. The keyboard is detachable and you can actually fold it up and you can connect it to it wired via USB Type-C or go wireless. And it's supposed to actually have a lot of power inside of it. Like, it's supposed to be a powerhouse that can really and truly rival a desktop. And so it has desktop components inside of it. It's not like using NVIDIA's Max-Q designs or anything of the sort. It's got a bunch of like space on the back for the heat to actually dissipate, instead of all the like per usual with laptops, all the fans and stuff being on the bottom or the bottom part. It's all where you would normally have like your monitor for your laptop on the back of it.
It's like a desktop tablet, because you know how persons always refer to tablets as like the laptop killer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty much exactly like that. And
I'm expecting it to be a good couple $1,000s.
I'm expecting that to be anywhere around $4,000 to $5,000, to be quite honest. Because I've seen some laptops that people have been reviewing, and these things are behemoths with like, there was quite literally one that needs 2 power plugs just to turn on. I don't know if you saw that one from Dave, Vicky.
No, I haven't seen that one.
But that thing was huge. That thing was like wider than I am. And I think he said it weighed about 20 pounds. So yeah, that was, and it has like a curved display, and I mean, it's a beautiful laptop, but overkill. And I'm glad this design came through. More so because this is actually really nice design when you actually think about it. It's different than everything else out there for the most part that's in the laptop territory. But at the same time, it makes a lot of sense because no longer are having guys, if you know this, you know, having to worry about heat going towards your junk, or for general people on your lap and burning your lap, essentially. Or, you know, worrying about like if you're clogging up the fan because you have it on your bed or whatnot. I would like to see more stuff come out like this. I'll be honest. But Vicky gave an interesting one, and it was LG's roll-up TV, which I think they, if I remember correctly, they showed off last year.
Last year, yeah, but it was more like I think a concept last year, but this time they came back with it developed and everything,
and
which is so nice.
It was like I don't know if I'm gonna get that versus. Did you see Samsung's like invisible TV or monitor or whatever? Like that one was interesting. Like essentially what it is they have the circuit board running through it, essentially. Linus did a video on it for something very similar. And essentially you can see right through the TV to the other side of it. There's no mirrors, no like cameras or any parlor tricks behind it. You can quite literally see to the other side. It's a little opaque, so you won't see things like 100% clear. But you can still see to the other side. And admittedly, when it was tested, if you turn off the lights in your room and like, let's say you're gaming or something like that, it's not really meant for that. It's more so for like commercial use and stuff. But let's say you were watching a movie or gaming or something like that, you can quite literally see very well with this. And even in like regular lighting, it works pretty well. Like you can see the person, you can see whatever it is behind you, while at the same time seeing what's on the screen. And this is actually a pretty neat little feature to actually have for something like a shop window, for example, like in my opinion. Because you could have something in your window, and then like, let's use jewelry because they kind of use jewelry in the example. You can have like a necklace or something like that, and then have your commercial of that same necklace displaying right in front of it. People can see the commercial, people can see the actual product, and so it kind of makes sense without having to go like 3D and projectors and like however else that some other places have been doing across Europe and other places like that. Have you found it as of yet, Vicky?
Yes, I have.
What's your impression of it?
I think this is gonna cost a good couple of $1,000 So I thought the LG Rollable TV was gonna be a lot. This is gonna be way more than that.
Yeah. Just the research and development of this, I'm pretty sure will drive the price of this thing up. Because admittedly, like, this is kind of a first. Like, you don't see invisible TVs out there. So imagine to the point where you can actually, this becomes consumer based. You can quite literally put this up on your wall. It looks like it's just your wall, just like a slightly darker color. Or you can throw this up anywhere, essentially, and just enjoy looking to the other side like there was nothing there. Ooh. Imagine the day that we'll have invisible rollable TV screens.
Imagine we have invisible phones.
That's one thing that's coming up. Yeah. Like I've seen concepts of it. Nothing has actually come about, but this can make it
If we
possible.
have invisible phones, I wonder if you'd actually like lose them more. Because they're gonna be invisible, so you won't really be able to see them.
I mean, you'll still like see the shape and everything like that. I'm sure. And because even with this TV, it's like slightly, like I said, it's slightly darker, so it's not entirely invisible.
It's more opaque.
Exactly. So like you'll still be like, if you pick it up, you can see your hand, or like if you're walking, you can see to the other side and make sure you're not about to run into anybody. But I think people would still end up losing them just because they're phones. I mean, how many times have you like maybe gone to the bathroom, taken out your phone while you're on the loo, and like rested your phone down and then just like walked out?
I don't really use my phone in public, but I've lost my phone in the house a few times. But I usually, Apple ecosystem. So I usually just like ring off my phone off my watch to try and find it.
I've done the same thing, and so I have to be like, "Hey, G, ring my phone," or something like, "Where's my phone?" or something like along those lines, and then listen out. Mom hasn't gotten used to it yet. It's like she'll still ask me to call her phone.
Oh, she's still in the old school days.
Yeah. What were you saying though?
Oh, I said, especially like if I fell asleep with my phone in my bed and I wake up and I can't find it, then I have to call. Well, I basically just ping it off until like I hear the sound, and then I like follow it to figure out where it dropped.
Yeah, I've had to do that as well a few times. Most times it ends up being on my bed, which is sad, because then it's just like lifting a sheet and then like
Yep.
Yeah, I feel dumb after that. Did you hear about the new GPUs that are coming out from Nvidia and AMD by any chance?
Yes.
What are your thoughts? Because
if I remember correctly, I think I watched the video for one. If I remember 100% correctly.
I know some people in chat, like in our Discord chat, they are not so enthused with the AMD GPU, and even inside like our personal WhatsApp group, like we had a friend that wasn't so enthused by it as well. And the main reason for that is actually something that it's a little like dicey right now, because okay, so Nvidia and AMD make graphic processor units, which are the things that pretty much power and allow us to play really intensive games without there being any like stuttering, that gives us like great quality and so on and so forth. And Nvidia came out with their own earlier on in CES, saying that they have their previous models that they announced. They're now in the mobile range, so there's about like a 10% like performance loss, but they have most of the performance there. And then they came up with like a budgeted version of the new system, the new cards, which is the 2060, and that had tepid responses as well from a lot of different people, simply because you're cutting with these new systems to enable certain things. You're pretty much cutting your performance in half unless you're using certain things. The thing about AMD is that they aren't pretty much using any of that. There's no ray tracing, which pretty much is the thing that cuts the NVIDIA's performance in half. There is no tensor or neural networking or machine learning components inside of it, and there's no DLSS, which is kind of like the machine learning part of it that upscales it and makes sure that your performance stays good. That said, AMD's is a good powerhouse for general computing, and so that's what people are saying and having problems with. Like it's not really a competitor in the long term. It's a competitor in the here and now, which I think it personally is fine because not a whole lot of games actually support some of these things. Sure, Anthem, people are saying like Anthem's the first game that's going to be supporting it, and so like people need to get on it, so on and so forth. But at the same point, Anthem needs to be a good game first, and we don't really like. They've shown us a lot of stuff that makes a lot of people like hope that they will be, but there's still no guarantee. So well, at least that's my thought. What's your thoughts on like this whole Nvidia AMD thing?
I actually didn't see the AMD one. I think I saw the Nvidia one. I think I saw that one. Which I understand now, like producing a budget and one because they know not everybody has like the pocket to get the premium model. But if you're gonna cut back on, but then that also it's kind of a 50-50 thing because you have to cut back in order for it to be a budget product. But then at the same time, you don't want to cut back too much where it ends up being like a more waste of money budget product instead of being like something that's going to be profitable to them and also the consumers.
Exactly, and that's kind of like the weird reasoning behind it. Like people are not really comparing it to its previous version, which is the 1060. They're comparing it to the 1070 Ti from Nvidia, and it makes sense because it's a few dollars shy of that 1070 Ti price, which is like $379, I think it is, and the 2060 is $349 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so people are really comparing it based on price, and then there was some people that were saying like, oh, you don't really look for the exact model number like that's bumped up the next year. You look at the one that's slightly higher and you compare it like that, and that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, to be quite honest, but whatever. At the end of the day, I would say this: if you do not have one of the 10 Nvidia GTX 10XX series, the 2060 is a good model to get for an upgrade. If you already have one, I would probably suggest you wait for the supposed 11XX series that's supposed to be coming out later on this year. Which, you know, may not have some of the like neural networking stuff, but at the same time it'll probably have most of the stuff that you'll want to be using as a gamer. So we'll see how that goes. Now, you know what's weird, Vicky? Like, there was a lot of car stuff at this. Like, I've been noticing like cars are becoming more of a thing at CES now. Like, do you think CES is becoming more of an auto show at this point?
Auto show. Tesla kind of started up this whole match between automobile and technology trend. So more average car dealerships and companies are trying to cash into the same revenue that Tesla is getting. So they're trying to push for the whole electronic cars and push for persons to see them, and with like the best place for persons to see electronic cars or electronic mobiles is to show them at CES, because they know like that's like the tech show that everybody's going to be watching.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because when you really think about it, it is the Consumer Electronics Show. So it's just kind of weird to consider like cars as the electronics now as well, I guess. So I guess people just need to try and come to terms with that. Like, these cars are more than just cars now. They're part of our infotainment systems. There's Google Assistant and like Apple CarPlay inside these things now. So
and they had like Mercedes even partnered up with I think it's Garmin, the GPS navigation company.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes even partnered up with them to create a smartwatch that it connects with the GPS and the car at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they partnered up to create one of them. So it's interesting to see that Mercedes even jumping on board with this.
I did see one interesting, well, actually two interesting things, and it's kind of funny that two companies came out with it around the same time. I think it was, I could be wrong, I think it was Nissan and one other company. I don't remember the name. But essentially what they did is they started to bring augmented reality into the car. So you pretty much put on like a headset, well, not a headset, but like a helmet of sorts, and like for the, I think it was the Nissan, something popped up from like the dashboard on the front, and then like you could start to see like different routes, or like there was quite literally one like an anime waifu type girl that came out and was like interacting with you, and would like, if you pointed towards like a picture or a destination, for example, she'd grab it and like push everything else back and like hold it up front for you. And like, there's a lot of interesting things that are kind of happening with that. Let me see, car AR. Let's do a quick search for that. Let's see, news. So augmented reality navigation overlays, that was Genesis. Yeah, so okay, yeah, so it was Nissan. Wow, okay, Mashable calls it Nissan's freaky AR concept would project friends into your car. Oh, and put digital friends in your car. That apparently they have two different titles for it, and it just changed automatically for me. But yes, and then there's another one that has augmented reality navigation overlays directing. So for this one, it's kind of like what they've already kind of like mocked up in some hacky kind of ways, where it like projects onto the windshield. This one has it automatically built in, it seems, where I'm guessing it still projects it onto the windshield and tells you when to take a left, when to take a right, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of stuff like this that has people bringing their stuff to CES to show off their cars. It's kind of weird.
And the Hyundai walking car, that was interesting too.
Wait, what? A walking car?
Like yeah, they have like a walking car. It's like it has legs, and it looks like it can convert between bringing out the legs on the car walking to having the legs tucked in and creating wheels for the car to like drive on the road.
This thing is freaky. Like, this is, I'm looking at it now. This thing is like the Dyson Robots, just enlarged, essentially. Yeah, this is interesting. Like, they have an example where it's pulling up to someone's like townhouse, essentially, like, so that you can just like walk right into it or roll right into the car without having to go down your steps. It's, I don't know. This one's a bit weird for me. Like, I don't know. Like, this was a little bit too weird for me right now. I don't know. Would you feel like fine going into that thing? Like if it just rolled up to like
I think this one was actually rolled up to him for more or less disability reasons, because it looks like the guy is actually in a wheelchair. So I think they're trying to show that you know it can help take him to and from the hospital to like where he needs to go. Because I know with the article I saw with the Hyundai walking car, there's like, oh, you know, the Hyundai walking car could be the ambulance of the future. So it's clear that they're pushing it to more like a medical point of view for it.
No, I mean, in that kind of sense, it makes sense, but at the same point, like, actually, no, it does make a whole lot of sense. Because then, if that works, then you may not need like those companies essentially that would like put a lift there to take you down, then have to put the lift to get you into the car, then drive you around.
Yeah.
This will essentially allow you to any taxi essentially to come and get you. So, I mean, that kind of works. Did you see Razer's vision for the future with their like whole like keyboard and
mouse
and the chair?
This one that plugs into the I saw the one that plugs into the Xbox One, where the keyboard and mouse is kind of like separate, and then the mouse is that was actually pretty neat.
That one was neat. And then the system that it actually like connects to a computer, like, so if you're playing a game essentially and something explodes in front of you, you feel it in the keyboard and the wrist pads, and a little bit like as you're walking you feel it in the mouse. But if something explodes in the back of you, then kind of like the cushion in your chair starts to vibrate and you feel it there. And then if you're wearing the headset that they came out with, then like you feel the vibrations there as well. And so it's kind of like they're trying to go really haptic feedback with it, which is weird in a sense, because then it's kind of almost like it's trying to go with the VR set without actually going VR. And yeah, I don't know. It could be an interesting setup. I don't know how popular it's going to be though.
It may be. I don't know. 40X is kind of popular, and it kind of has the similar effects from that.
That is true. That is true. I mean, granted, there won't be any like, unless you have like a friend there that's like spraying water on you.
I usually turn off the water when I go in, so I have no issues with that.
Welcome to the stream, Zayfuria. I generally leave mine on, so it's just kind of like spurt, and I try. I've gone in with a few friends, and I like they disable it, and then I like, you should probably try with it on, because it's their first time. And then they like they shout whenever it spurts up. So it's kind of funny with that.
Which reminds me of the Twister at Universal Studios, but instead of standing up, you're sitting down.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah, I actually haven't gone to that.
No, apparently it isn't there anymore. One of my coworkers told me that they shut it down. I was like, ouch. That was like my childhood.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah. They got rid of the Twister. They got rid of Jaws. So it's just like they're cutting off all the old movies slowly but surely.
I mean, they kind of have to make space for the others, for the new stuff, I guess.
Until they do another reboot. It's only a matter of time before Twister gets to reboot.
Twister 2. There was I'm not gonna get into the whole monitor thing, because yeah, Razer brought out a new monitor as well, but that's like really insanely expensive. That's like $700, and its only real claim to fame is the cable management system. There's some other monitors.
Oh, I actually saw that one. I saw that monitor.
What do you think?
With the lights underneath it.
Yeah. To me, I mean, it's nice, but it's like kind of overkill for $700. Like, I could get like 2 monitors that are better than that, essentially. So, I don't know.
It's all about the brand.
Definitely all about the brand with Razer. But they're kind of like the Apple of the Windows world in a sense, so it kind of makes sense with that. I don't know. But what would you say is the product that really caught your attention this year?
I would have to go with the rollable TV. I'd have to go with that one. Simply because they brought it up as a concept last year, and they actually made it into, they basically like made a working model of it. More sense, because like, you know, for some days to see the TS, they usually see them. You're like, oh, you know, that's nice to have. Blah, blah, blah. You get excited for it, like you said earlier. You get excited for it, and then come to find like it never comes out. But for this one, you actually got excited for it, and this one came out. And like, it's like if they could produce, like mass produce it, and customers can get it, you know, it's going to be hella expensive, and you can't wait to like see, like, probably when your rich friends get one, so you go there and play with it. Because actually, it does look pretty neat. Like, you could have the TV. You can hide it in the box if you don't want like the TV to always be out. You can crop the TV, I think, a quarter of the way, so you show it's more like kind of like a status bar.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't want to have the full TV up, like the full screen on, it's like crop it like a quarter away, and you just like show the status bar, like the weather, so what's going on, and then you can have the TV at full length and like watch this large movie or TV, whatever you want to watch on TV. I don't know what most people watch, but yeah. So I think that was like my big to do from CES this year, that LG actually followed through with what they promised last year.
For me, I would actually have to say the Asus ROG Mothership. Just simply because like I said before, I like the concept behind it. And while that's probably going to cost a few $1,000s, I would like to see, honestly, I'd like to see laptops kind of move towards that in the future and eventually go down in price. Hopefully. Really, truly, like, crossing my fingers here. I want these to go down in price.
I've been waiting for laptops to go down, but Apple just keeps raising them. I don't know.
I'm actually surprised you didn't like bring up the whole Apple going on like different TVs, like the Apple what's it called, like
iTunes Music, movie and iTunes TV shows, and they also implemented AirPlay. Yep. So you have AirPlay, you have AirPlay sound and etc. So like persons could stream on any of the Apple devices to like different smart TVs that have the application, all the support for it. And persons are saying it's all like move towards, because you know Apple's in like cahoots with getting their own like streaming service. So persons, you know, it's only like dipping your toe in the water for that.
And I mean, it's smart. Like, this is Apple's already having some issues of their own recently. Hence that like little meetup that they had internally.
That's honestly and truly all their fault. Like, they really was pushing persons' buttons with their price increases between the time frame of last year, 2017 and 2018. So they have no one to blame but themselves for that.
I completely agree. And they're the ones that's caused the rise of pricing for a lot of other products as well, which is kind of weird in its own right. What would you say is the most innovative one that you've seen?
Let me see. I actually had a list. The most innovative one I agree with was the Hyundai walking vehicle. Like, I would have never thought about that at all. So I think that like that would be the most innovative one for me. Because like most usually when you see persons speaking about automobiles and technology, it's always like something dealing with AI or like self-driving cars and stuff like that. You never figured persons would make, like a walking vehicle.
That's true. Like the only time I've seen something similar was during one of like a smart city concept kind of thing where it kind of like raises the car up to go over other cars. Like it's an emergency vehicle type thing. But even that was just for government use, an emergency vehicle at that, and not really anything for consumers. So this is different. This one's actually something that we may actually see, and more than just a concept. To be quite honest, like they're showing it out to the public now in a place like CES, which admittedly like I said, there's been vaporware, so it's not 100%, but it's still better than just being on the internet. It says that you're flexing the AirPods. For me, I would have to say the most innovative is that Samsung invisible TV. Like that took some serious brainworks to try and figure that out, to actually have the circuitry and like the image to still be quite visible while still being able to see straight through it like that. And it's not just like shining light through it, it's actually like a stable image. There's no like loss of quality or anything like that. It's nice. I can't deny it. Like if the price, which they haven't said, but I believe would be quite high, wasn't as high as I believe it would be, I would be tempted to get it. No doubt.
It's the power of Samsung. The amount of money that they make, and the amount of things that they can manufacture in such a time frame.
Exactly. And the thing is, I don't buy Samsung like monitors or TVs. Like that's my hard thing. And so if I'm getting that, that's saying something. For me, there was a product that came out that I would give the crappiest award to.
The stick?
No, not the stick. The smart toilet that costs.
Oh, I saw that one.
The smart toilet that Cole has actually came out. They released pricing, and they reported by CNET. They said that the smart mirrors start at $1,249. Smart mirrors were okay for the 24-inch version. The shower system that they have with voice commands and spa presets costs $3,000. The freestanding bathtub costs $4,849. And guess how much the toilet goes for?
5,000.
7,000. And if you want it in black, it's 9,000.
Winston's black became such a premium color. It's usually like gold or something.
Like, why? Just why? Like,
people continue to mix smart with any item that they can find in their household.
I don't know anyone, and this goes for people that I know that quite literally can throw money away at stuff, who would buy a toilet for $9,000. People who can spend that kind of money generally are pretty frugal with their money, and like they spend their money wisely. That ain't wise at all. I don't suggest anyone buy any of this stuff. But definitely that toilet. That is crap. So that's my crap award.
At least it glows.
Wow. So now we're like Bob's Burger in like that episode of Bob's Burger with the toilet.
It looks like this actually looks like one of those, you know, those futuristic toilets that you tend to see on movies or like anything that's set like in the future. It looks just like that.
It does. I will admit, like the aesthetics for it is on point for like future tech, but that pricing is not future tech. That, I mean, it's future tech pricing. Don't get me wrong, but like
in the next couple of years, that price about to drop. So everybody save your money until then.
That price better drop as soon as that launch if they want to sell it. But what would be your crap product if you had one?
My own would actually be the mine would be the folding mate, the one that folds your clothes for you.
Yeah, I could understand.
It's just like that's purely the highlight of laziness. I don't understand why persons would purchase a machine to fold your clothes for you when you can just do it yourself. You don't have to spend no money. Like, that's money you could save for you to like just fold the clothes yourself.
It might be
for like you said, you gonna purchase the product. Then when things go wrong, you have to purchase parts.
Yep.
And then you have to find a technician that can fix the product, especially if the company itself doesn't have like their own storefront or like their own site technicians to fix it for you.
Exactly. Heaven help you if you live outside the country, like we do.
Like, yeah. I know about the struggle.
But I mean, maybe you're the kind of person that like time is money, and that's time that you could spend doing something else. I just don't see it. I don't see it for either of these products, but maybe that's you. What would you say is the best product from CES this year? Like the utmost
this is
best.
actually a tough one. Oh man, I actually can't list this one. I'll do more. So I'll say one of my favorite products this year from CES.
Okay.
You can do that? Okay.
Sure.
I'd say my favorite product is the Razer keyboard mouse. The mouse is magnetically attached to the keyboard and has a little pad that you can pull out and push back in. You connect it to your Xbox or like any other hardware by just the what's it called? Yeah, I can't remember the term. Anyway, like more or less like the key insert similar to what persons use for wireless mouses. Well, they used to use wireless mouses. I don't think they still use them now. We just like slide it into the USB port and it automatically connects to the device. Yeah, I'd say that's one of my favorite products.
For me, that was actually a little. That was a toughie as well for me. If I had to pick of everything that was at CES, Jackie's saying that yawn is contagious for Vicky. There were a lot of Google Assistant and Alexa stuff, so I can't really give it to any one of them.
A lot of AI stuff. Like I
Yeah,
felt like persons went AI crazy.
they did. They did. There weren't a whole lot of laptop stuff other than the Asus and Acer stuff. Devin says, pretty sure some glasses free 3D displays were revealed at CES 2019 too. Um, I mean, but they always kind of do that, but it's always some kind of gimmick behind it. So I don't really look too in depth at those. Uh, there were some headsets that came out, but the headsets always are very basic kind of stuff. So
They had like underwater earbuds.
yeah, like there's a lot of like random stuff that just
Yeah, like
comes out at
I always feel
CES.
like when you're underneath water, you need to be able to hear something's happening above water level. I know persons like to throw in their headphones and blast their music super loud.
Yeah, honestly, I know they kind of were already like there last year, but I like the fact that they were able to cut down on this one. And for me, I think it's probably going to end up being the Samsung Wall, but the smaller version of it.
Oh, the wall TV?
Yeah, like they showed that it actually can have like a smaller commercial and like consumer use to it. Um, if I remember correctly, you don't really notice the seams inside of it all that much unless you're like right up on it. But if you're like sitting back watching TV and stuff, you're not gonna really notice it. And it's still something that they're working on releasing for this year. But I mean, it's essentially a TV that you can make as big as you want it to make it, and you could actually have it becoming like different TV shows or whatever on or different whatevers on each individual panel that you add up. So that could be an interesting way for a lot of different stuff for TVs in the future. If it wasn't going to be that, I would have probably said the invisible TV for that. But I, Samsung's doing pretty good with this year, and as much as I want to give it to like the Asus, the Asus Mothership, like I don't know, Samsung is more of a game changer than that for me, in my opinion.
Samsung and LG came to kill in the television department.
They did. They really, really did.
They actually, if I do think it was the Samsung panel I was listening to, where and they do a lot of AI in a lot of their products, but they're like the smart fridge where you can now whatever like a I think it's more like a Nest, and your family could share photos on the smart fridge. You can like make like post-its and add stickers and stuff onto the fridge.
Yep.
So neat.
I mean, it's an interesting way, and Samsung can do it because they make quite literally a bunch of different stuff. They make they make stoves, they make dishwashers, they make laundry, like the dryer and washer, they make fridges, they make microwaves, they make TVs, they make like quite literally almost any electronic inside your house. They make them. So their ecosystem is, I dare say, it's like almost untouchable by most stuff, because they also own the SmartThings ecosystem, which is an IoT system that a lot of different IoT devices run on or have allow connection to. So yeah, they're kind of like, I would say their ability to connect is bigger than Apple's, and that's saying something.
Apple has the ability to connect within their devices. If like anything out of the Apple device range, no. Until like recently, whereas they introduced the whole iTunes movie, iTunes TV thing for different smart TVs.
Yeah.
But that's only there to basically feed their gain, which is when they want to launch their subscription service.
Yeah, and besides, the more eyes that you get on your, quite literally, the stuff that you want eyes on, like your shows, your movies, and the stuff you're gonna stream, plus like the music and stuff like that, then it makes sense to partner up with other companies so that you can get eyes on it. So it ends up being a win for them either way. So yeah. Were there any other stuff that you had listed for awards?
Mm, I give the next weirdest product to the Mute Smart Display, which is the pink stick. It
Oh,
was
did you
really
just call it a paint
weird.
stick?
Yeah, it's like a pink stick. It was really like a super weird product, but if they could take that concept and make it into something bigger, I would be wildly improved. I'm all impressed.
I agree. Like I want to see where that technology ends up, because if you can mix that with stuff like wireless charging, boy, you can really start rocking stuff. Imagine waking up, just running your finger along the bureau next to your bed, and like a set of commands goes off. It lifts up your blinds, because there's now like blinds that are now I forget who made them. I know one company made smart blinds, and so you can actually control it, just like with it connects to smart things and everything like that too. It'll turn on your lights. It'll tell you what's happening for your day. It'll start playing the podcast that you like to listen to. Start up your shower. Start on your coffee or whatever it is, and just do a whole bunch of stuff. Like that's where that can start ending up, and I think that's without having the need to start looking at a screen first thing in the morning. It
And running your retinas.
Exactly. If you don't get the reference, we had an episode where we pretty much talked about why cell phones, screens on a whole, and so on and so forth, are essentially killing your eyes and poisoning them to a degree. So feel free to check out that episode on our YouTube page. But that actually, I dare say, covers it for this week. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, as per usual, we'd like to thank everyone that came on. So I'd like to thank my co-host, Vicky, for coming on, especially since this is a holiday here.
Welcome.
I'd like to thank everyone that joined in on chat, everyone that liked and posted and shared it, and so on and so forth. Plus, guys, don't forget, we have MOAR Tech every Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our sister show, Esports Wrap, on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Going forward, you can always find us at our youtube.com/moarcookies, MOAR cookies, website for our past episodes, or morecookies.com. Or if you like to listen to just the audio versions of stuff, feel free to head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or pretty much anywhere that you like to listen to podcasts on. Sometimes I actually like to listen to Pocket Casts, but I digress. If you guys want to actually be a part of the conversation, feel free to hit us over on our Discord chat, where we were actually talking about CES a little bit earlier on this week, and that's where we kind of got some of your feedback for the same episode. So, until next time, guys, do take care.